Hello, everyone. Welcome as you start coming on in wherever you're getting us out. We are on Substack, we are on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick today. Welcome, everybody. Yeah, we've started streaming on Kick. We're going to start getting this message. We're kicking ass over here, and we're going to get this Diogenes Club out everywhere. So, hey, what's going on, y'all? I'm Nick Perro, not your dad, joined by my good friend, Dr. Eric Lulove, medical editor at Blue Amp Media. And we will be joined here soon, right at the top of the hour or right around the top of the hour.
Do we want to announce it yet, or we want to do it right at the top of the hour?
Well, her name's listed on the show right now because she accepted our co-hosting invite. We're going to be introducing and speaking with today a really special guest, someone that I've been talking to in the background.
I got goosebumps.
Yeah, I've got goosebumps, and I got to talk to her on the phone a while ago. Is Jessica Denson from Lights On, and from Remove the Regime. She's part of. She is an incredible organizer. She's a powerful voice, and I'm so freaking excited to talk to her. And we're going to be talking with Jessica about the DOJ Olmstead decision. It touches her family. It touches my family and me. It touches Eric. It touches all of us.
Everybody.
And so we're so excited to be able to get to talk with Jessica on the live for the first time. I've never had a live with Jessica. Eric's never had one. Walter helped get us introduced to her. And now I've gotten the chance to speak with her.
Friend Walter.
I haven't seen him. He's been doing a lot of other things.
He was doing his alcoholic stuff early in the morning. So
yeah, and I'm glad he seems to be doing well right now. And I'm so looking forward to getting Jessica on with us here soon because this is going to be an incredible discussion. We've got a lot to talk about today.
Can the word of the day be epic for Sick of This Shit Productions? Can we just use it as an epic day today for you?
Yeah, it's going to be an epic Sick of This Shit publication day. We are epically sick of this shit today because holy fuck. First off, let's acknowledge what day it is today. Today is the 4-year anniversary of the Dobbs decision and the Supreme Court telling women that they do not have the right to choose for themselves and their bodies.
Yeah.
And that privacy is not a thing. And that Americans don't have a right to privacy. And that's what it was. And if you think the Dobbs decision was only about abortion, I have a boat to sell you in Death Valley.
Nope.
And you ain't going nowhere with it. Willfully ignorant on this subject means you're an asshole. Eric, what do you think? Because I know I saw you write about it this morning.
Yeah.
I also want to touch on the SAVE Act stuff.
Real quick. Yeah. I mean, listen, everybody who's been following me saw when the SAVE Act first got introduced, I immediately was on top of it and had a call to action for your legislatures to write letters and to have a script to call in and say, this is what you're going to do. And this is what you're going to say. And this is how I oppose the SAVE Act. And the fact that this orange marmalade looking slobby, retaglutide taking motherfucker, because we all know it was him, that's on Rhoda, right? That's taking Retta, which is not FDA approved, by the way. That's a whole nother conversation. That Lilly gave to him under a compassionate, whatever you want to call it, which is horseshit, because there's a lot more obese people in the United States they could have given it to. If it was that pandemic-ish, you give it to everybody. Anyway, so the fact that I had a post on the SAVE Act, again, but here's the data, everybody. If you have not seen my post from this morning, I'm just going to really quickly summarize it. So this is the banned state list. These are the states that have a full abortion ban, not partial, full abortion ban. Say it with me, right? Alabama, Arkansas, where Nick is located.
Hey, that's my state.
Idaho, Kentucky, Louisiana. Let me know if everybody sees a pattern here. Mississippi, Missouri, North Dakota, Oklahoma, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, and West Virginia. This is the pattern, okay? So here's the thing. So the statistics don't lie. Numbers are numbers, right? So the Gender Equity Policy Institute, which is the only nonprofit in the country that tracks this, okay? Right now, the current rate of what we call MMR, or maternal mortality, is 18.6 per 100,000. So for every 100,000 live births, there's 18.6 maternal deaths in the United States, which is absolutely unfucking necessary.
It's appalling.
It's disgusting. Okay. Here's really, this is like, and by the way, the CDC won't even report if it's less than 10 per 100,000 live. So they just ignore the data. So there are, for every 100,000 live births, there are 10 women who are basically just discarded by the CDC as a statistic. They don't even look at it. They don't even count it. But guess what? Those are moms. Those are sisters. Those are mothers. Those are wives. Those are best friends. And
They're people.
The government is just discarding those people as if they don't exist. So here's the basic statement. So in September of 2021, Texas became the first state to had a ban prior to the Dobbs decision. Okay. That in the first year of its 6-week abortion ban, maternal mortality rose 56% overall and 95% among, hold your tone. I'm going to do my Dean Blundell thing and reach in and spit into the microphone while I'm talking. By the way, we'll talk about your Dean interview, by the way. But this was among white women. 95 increase in mortality among white women. So even if it was like 5 white women that died, it went to 10. Okay, because of the Dobbs decision. A 50% increase in sepsis in the same period. So a woman's risk of maternal death in Texas is 155% higher than that in California. And if you're Latina, it's 3 times the risk of those in California. So what are we talking about here? This is not taking care of women. This is about making sure they die unless they can't produce a healthy child.
And even if they produce a healthy child, they can still die. They're
still going to die. So here's the deal. So for those of you who want to see the stats, California is the safest state in the country to have a child. It's 9.5 maternal deaths per 100,000.
It surprises me that California is compared to, say, Massachusetts.
So that data is kind of out there, kind of parsed. But like if you look at the maternal data rates between supportive states, okay, which is really the maternal mortality death rate in states that have supportive services with supportive laws, or however you want to, like, the term is either, so the terminology, I just want to make sure. So we're either talking about banned, supportive, or restrictive state groups. Okay. So like a state like Florida is restrictive, but it'll still allow for abortions to be legal in the event of the mother's life or if it's rape or incest. Okay. So, but when you wanted to ask about specifically about, let's just say like Massachusetts. Okay. Mm-hmm. So Massachusetts, so California, the new data that just came out in 2025 was 10.1 deaths per 100,000. And that's the lowest in the US. That's California. Massachusetts is 13 per 100,000 live births. Okay. And then Minnesota is about 14.1. Colorado and Delaware go up to like 25. So the highest rate in restrictive states. So these are the restrictive states now, okay? Tennessee, 42. Louisiana, 41. Mississippi, 37. Alabama, Arkansas is 30. Listen, it's fucking disgusting.
Yes.
It's absolutely in the state, in a country with literally the best healthcare in the world. These numbers are fucking appalling. And why is it appalling? It's because we as a society have allowed religion to enter into the public health policy discourse arguments and have allowed religious beliefs to dictate secular healthcare policy. This is why I have such an issue with HHS right now. I have an issue with MAHA. I I have an issue with Christian evangelical white nationals. I have a problem with the religious Jewish population. And this is me being Jewish. I have a real problem with the ultra-Orthodox religious Jews who basically are no better than white Christian evangelicals on their belief patterns, because they're so far to the right that you got to look at them this way just to understand what they're saying. And it's the leading cause of maternal death nationwide is sepsis. And we're not, and so we would rather have women die than, God forbid, that fetus has to be sacrificed to save the parent. Now,
God forbid we sacrifice, God forbid a fetus dies to protect the life of a person who is already here, who already has agency.
So this is, Nick, this is the argument. Bullshit. This is the medical argument, okay? Who checks into the hospital? Who's the patient? Is it the mom or is it the fetus? Because guess what? The fetus isn't born yet, so the fetus isn't even legal. There's a reason why we call it your birthday and not your conception day. Okay? Your legal birthday is the day that you were hatched. Okay? The patient who enters the hospital is the patient. It's the mother. Okay? Yes, there are 2 individuals that get discharged, or 3 or more, depending on the pregnancy. Okay? But there's a reason why the mother's life has to be more important than anything, because she's the goddamn patient. And what's happened here is that in these restrictive states, not that I wanted to get into a full fucking abortion argument, but the problem is that you now have these states that are telling physicians, if you abort a fetus in these restrictive states, we're going to charge you with murder. Or if you're a mother and you go to a state that's supportive and you kill that fetus and you live in our state, we're going to charge you with murder. So what's the point here? What are we doing?
Forced birth. That's what we're doing.
This is like Handmaid's Tale shit.
It's forced birth. It is not pro-life. It's not forced birth.
It's never been pro-life. It's never been
pro-life.
No, it's never been about pro-life.
It's
because if they were pro-life, they wouldn't allow the women to die.
Yeah, it's about control and forced birth.
Thank you.
And making women subservient and subjugated and discriminated against by men.
As a healthcare provider, as a husband, it makes me fucking sick. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm like, I literally get nauseous when I hear these conversations and I hear the stories, and it just makes me angry and upset as a male that this shit even goes on and continues, and then we've got people who actually believe this shit, that it's okay, and we've allowed this to be passed at the legislatures at the state level, and there's been silence by the Blue Dems. They don't say shit. They don't say fucking anything. We need to codify so many things in the next Congress and in the next administration to make the playing field equitable for women and men.
And everyone in between.
And it hasn't been for 250 years.
And this is a good also transition into part of our other conversation. We're going to be having a lot of this conversation when Jessica gets here is around the Olmsted memo and the attempts to resegregate, rediscriminate, and reforce institutionalize people with disabilities. That's just part 1 of what they want to do with the Olmsted memo. Mm-hmm. Because part 2 is then dissent becomes labeled as a mental illness.
Yep.
And you get locked away for being a dissenter and you disappear. And if you don't believe that, go read a book about World War II and what the Nazis did. It's literally their playbook.
Yep.
It is the playbook of eugenics. That's what the Dobbs decision was too. We have to bring it all back to where these root causes are. It's a eugenics decision. It's based on removing and erasing people who are not within the small status that they want, the hyper restrictive state of humanity they want. This is eugenics. This regime practices eugenics on steroids. They have eugenics with techno-fascists. They have eugenics with the neo-Nazis. They have eugenics with the old Confederates. It's all one and the same. The Nazis got their cues from slave-owning Americans. The Nazis learned about and practiced their eugenic ideas because of slave-owning Americans and the Confederates that were left over, and the KKK. We have to admit, and we have to own up to the fact that America has been exporting this fascism since its inception. We are on a country that we founded through genocide. We're built on a nation founded on slavery.
But we don't have to be this way. We don't
have to do it. We don't have to.
We're supposed to have evolved as a society, but I think what we are doing is by the people we are electing and the choices that Americans are making, they're choosing Neanderthalism.
Yes.
It's like we're literally like intellectually regressing backwards to a point in time where it was unga bunga thumpa thumpa. I don't have two brain cells between my ears to know that what's right and fucking wrong. Okay? And there's just blatant shit that's fucking wrong. I'm sorry. The eugenics, the fascism, the killing of women, the killing of children, the mass shootings, the dysregulation of weapons. It's the fucking cheating, the grifting, the scamming. I mean, I'm like, I'm channeling Walter right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's regression versus progression.
I try to be the super intellectual on this show and really try to have these high level conversations. But today I'm just fucking pissed because you want to bring back the SAVE Act. You want to veto the housing bill. You want to restrict women's roles even more so than what you think you're already doing. Okay. You've got 12 states that are literally saying a woman's life is less important than the unborn child. Guess what? That child wouldn't even be there if it wasn't for the woman.
Yeah.
Okay. I hate to break it to everybody, guys. We may control the gender of the child, but that child is because of the woman. That fetus is developing and growing because of a woman's body, not because of anything we're fucking doing.
And yes, I mean, there's nothing other than to say yes on that. Like,
this is basic physiology, but it's also about genetics, and it's also about the role of how we treat people, period.
We should not be relitigating basic human dignity over and over and over again.
This is unintelligent.
We fucking did this already. We did that already. We litigated humanity, and guess what? We all remember that slavery was fucking bad. Treating people like 3/5 of a person is fucking bad.
Well, they weren't even 3/5 of a person until it was put into the Constitution.
Yeah, having rape banks where they fucking traded slaves to rape them was bad. It still is bad, and we're still fucking doing it. We just transitioned it to what we call the Epstein network. It's all the fucking
might as well call it the Kushner network now, because that's what it is.
The Trump Kushner network is slavery and rape banks brought back. That's what they want. Then all of this is regression versus progression. It is not left versus right. It is not liberal versus conservative. This is, do we regress as a society to a state where we see people as subhuman? Or can we finally fucking progress to an equal and equitable society? And building on that, there's a QR code over Eric's head now for the Disability Community for Democracy's official statement on the Olmstead memo.
It's at the 2 o'clock position.
At the
now it's on
2
See if I go
2 o'clock position. Right now, right over Eric's head. Please scan the QR code. Go like, share, and restack the official statement from the Disability Community for Democracy, as well as support and follow them. Subscribe to that platform, because Naida and the team at DC4D is doing incredible things.
Thank you so much for doing it.
She is working her ass off On top of that, she helped provide the scripts for us to be able to call our members of Congress, to email and fax them. I'm going to add it here at the bottom below Eric and I, a second script, a second QR code that you could scan. Call to action.
See it. Hang on. Okay.
To say no to Crip Crow.
Perfect.
And that language right there, Crip Crow, that hit me when I saw that.
Yeah.
In such a powerful way. Holy fuck. Guys, this is the fight right now. You either stay silent and they come for us, or you speak out. We all know what happens if you stay silent in these moments. They disappear us. And then when it comes time for people to speak out for you,
there's nobody there.
We will not be there because we will be gone, because we are not part of that group. We are the others.
Listen, I don't want to keep
and we have power to do something. That's what I want to bring this to, is we have the power to do something. If we put enough pressure on this legislation, on legislators right now, the call to action isn't just for them to say something. There's laws on the books right now. The Americans with Disabilities Act can be amended to codify the Olmstead decision today.
Yep.
It would take them 10 fucking minutes to amend the bill and pass it through both House and Senate. It would take them 10 fucking minutes. All I'm asking is that everybody takes the moments each day to call. I'm going to be doing that later today too. I'm going to do a live on Substack where it may just be me on there, but I'm going to invite all of you to come and join me to do our daily call to action, to call our representative and our senators in the federal government and demand that they codify the Olmstead decision into law, because Stephen Miller is a eugenicist who wants us gone because we are the others. We are weak in their eyes. We are nothing because we cannot produce for their capitalistic society. We cannot produce their wealth. They can't steal from us because we can't produce the way that they think we need to produce, because humanity to them is they get to have autocratic socialism. The rest of us are serfs. The rest of us are slaves to their environment. And so right now is your time to act. And we can do it. We can do it every single fucking day. If we get myself, I'm doing this. I'm doing this every day. If 100 of you join me plus every day to do it, that's 100 calls each day to your representative and your senators. If we can get some of the larger platforms to join in with us, imagine a publication with 100,000 people. Imagine a publication with 5 million people. If they joined us and only 10% of their subscribers called, 10% of 100,000 is 10,000 people calling. 10% of 5 million is 500,000 people. 500,000 people. And yes, that's you, Midas Touch. You have the power to have 500,000 people or more called daily if you choose to use it. The Bulwark, you too. I won't call out other platforms because I've reached out to some of the other platforms and I have had some incredibly amazing responses from people who are ready and willing to support what we are doing. But I'm calling on the other platforms. They need to step in and do it too. And this is where you guys also come in handy and really can support us, is contact those platforms. If you are a founding subscriber on Substack to a platform that you think needs to be speaking out, or if you're a paid subscriber, DM them, message them, do it on repeat until they fucking get back to you. Because after they come for people with disabilities, they will come for the next group. And the group of people with disabilities is vast. We are the largest segment of society. I'm just going to put that out there. People with disabilities are the largest segment of society.
And it's because of the ADA that they have been recognized, have been given rights and resources, and, you know.
And I will give credit where credit is due on that one. George H.W. Bush signed the ADA into law, and he said it was one of the most important things he has ever done. It was one of the most important things George H.W. Bush ever did, and he was proud of it. Because it wasn't conservatism versus liberalism. It was progress versus regression. And he progressed society forward with the ADA. He progressed America towards a slightly more equal and equitable society. But it needs to go further.
I just want to remind everybody that this was 1990, July 26th, so about a month from now. Okay. The final conference report was passed in the House of Representatives 377 to 28. The Senate passed 91 to 6. Like, if this is not a statement of what was to be done right to a certain group of people,
I don't know what is.
Less than 40 years ago, okay? There is no reason today that this should even fucking exist. These numbers, and keep in mind too, like I mean, we were talking about this on Tuesday, right?
Mm-hmm.
The majority of Congress people at the time, both senators and House Congress people, this was a World War II generation that was in Congress at the time. That they came. This was the first like major legislation in 1990 where that population was finally understanding all of the things that the soldiers were coming back from World War II, and how that even took 50 years to get, 45 years to get after the fact to get these disability rights approved. So the majority of the soldiers coming home who were in their early 20s, mid 20s, early 30s at the time of the passage of the ADA were in their 60s and 70s. And then you had the Vietnam and Korea veterans that were affected by this too. And I'm not just speaking of military at this point, but then you had all the civil service people, your firefighters, your police officers, you know, U.S. mail carriers. And then it was expanded even further to the general civilian population with mental health and physical disabilities due to trauma and injury and violence. It just became such a I think, honestly, Nick, at the time when you're looking at like generational passage of laws, I think the ADA in 1990 was one of the most pivotal pieces of legislation in the history of this country that I would probably rank up there with the Voting Rights Act, the passage of the 13th Amendment, the Affordable Care Act.
The year the ADA was
passed. The Medicare Act in 1973. You know, certain just pivotal pieces of legislation that as a country that we can still do great things with the right people to make it happen. And right now, the elected officials we have, these are not the right people to get anything done. They're just not the right people. They don't have the will, they don't have the stomach, they don't have the courage, they don't have the spine. These are fucking cowards that we have elected. These 435 Congress people that we have, and I'm going to loop them all together because it's what it is. They're all cowards. Okay? Maybe there's 10 of them that have a fucking spine. And as far as the senators are concerned,
if you could find a spine in the Senate,
maybe
you'd be, like
maybe 5. And this isn't because all of a sudden you grow a fucking spine because you lost your fucking primary. You're there for 6 goddamn years. Do your fucking job.
Yeah.
Just do your fucking job.
The ADA was signed 1990. That's the year I was born.
Yeah.
The ADA is as old as I am. 36 years is the ADA. The Olmstead decision was 1999, was when we finally stopped force institutionalizing, segregating, and discriminating openly against disabled people. 1999. It took almost 3 years for the 2 women who were in that case to get that decision and be released from their fucking forced care. And now Texas is trying to undo all of that.
Yeah. I just want
the DOJ is trying to undo all of that.
I just want to remind you, we're at the top of the hour and we have our special guest. Is she backstage?
She will be. She hasn't come in yet. I'm going to drop her the link again just so that she's got it.
No, she just texted. She's in the chat. She'll be right there.
Oh, okay. Fantastic.
And I just wanted, we were just on our soapboxes.
We're on our soapbox. Yeah. I don't want to.
I went 32 minutes and Jesus Christ, but I just want to, before she comes on, I want to put this topic to bed for the day, because we're going to talk with her more about it, but at least between you and me, that if this was a baseball team and we had players as the managers of our respective teams, and these were the statistics literally of not getting anything done and not performing, hitting under 200, striking out all the time, making errors, not producing in the field, not winning games, not being able to hit a base hit or take a walk, or if we treated our Congress people like athletes and they underperform, they get cut. They get waived.
Yes.
They get put on waivers.
Not at the end of their contract, but during.
Done. Like we'll still pay your contract, but we're sending you down to the minors. Like you're out. You're out of the big game. Like we're sending you from the majors down to, whatever. And we don't have that capability in the law with the way that our Congress people are elected. The only way, we talked about this on Tuesday, the only way that they can be removed is if they're removed from Congress, they die
by themselves.
Or they
It has to change.
Right. It has to change. Like we cannot continue. We live in a world today where there should be nothing guaranteed except for 3 things, right? Housing, healthcare, and food.
I'll add 4th is education.
Education.
Because education stabilizes and makes nations strong.
Yep.
It makes the people of the nation stronger.
I know the old talk was death and taxes were only 2 things that were guaranteed, but those aren't even guaranteed anymore, because we can defibrillate.
Well, death is guaranteed.
No, but we can defibrillate you and bring you back to life.
Well, that's true.
You can be clinically dead, but not legally dead.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair. And don't worry, we're getting Jessica on. She'll be here in a couple moments. Right. We're just working on getting her in the show. Like, she's in our chat with us. If you have not subscribed to Jessica Denson yet, please go and follow her work. We're going to have a really good conversation on continuing our conversation on this.
I mean, if you guys haven't noticed, the disability topic hits Nick and I really hard. Me on the standpoint of from the clinical side.
On the standpoint of I'm a disabled individual.
Right. And even more so for Nieta, who's in the fight, who's disabled herself. But by the way, did you hear the president the other day? I think it was even yesterday. That fucking piece of shit. He can't even bring himself to use the word disabled. He's still using language like handicapped. Like I mean, it's so demeaning to call somebody handicapped because they're not handicapped.
Yeah, I also saw, and this will be a separate comment.
Fucking lit me up yesterday.
Here we go. Hey. And so, friends, we are going to introduce our amazing guest today, right now, is welcome
Ta-da!
on Jessica. Hi, Jessica. It's so good to have you here with us.
Nick and I
Thank
both
you.
have goosebumps. My hair standing on my end of my head.
Yeah, I've got
Thank you so
goosebumps right
much.
now. I love this.
You
put my
both are
hearts out for
wonderful. Nick, you have been an unbelievable asset and help behind the scenes. I have to thank you so much, and just the love that you both have poured on the work we're doing, and my show has been beautiful. So thank you so much. And
I'm
listening
flushing.
to you guys,
I can't. I'm
mean,
all for clump. I'm all for clump.
I mean, to hear people who are as outraged with the living dead that are otherwise known as our elected representatives, I mean, yes, we need to have this collective outrage about the people that are supposed to be doing our work. It's utterly disgusting.
So, Jessica, for anyone who doesn't know you, which I think a lot of our folks in the audience have heard, have seen you before. I know I used to watch. I love your show. I really appreciate what you do. Thank you for speaking out.
Super.
You're a rock star. Can you introduce yourself to everyone in our audience so that they know who you are? I'm going to drop your Substack link for everyone just so that they can go subscribe to you right now. And if you haven't, hit the subscribe button in the top left corner so that you can.
And if you don't subscribe, we're going to find you and we're going to boot you out of the chat because that's like.
Oh, you all are very kind. Let me give you something that I don't usually start off with. I'm an actress. I'm an award-winning journalist by education. I'm an animal lover and animal welfare activist since inception. And somehow, because of a very perverted media system that we all know about, I got swept into right-wing politics, went from being a Barack Obama supporter in the primary of 2008 to ultimately backing Trump and working on his campaign in 2016. Had a nightmare experience that anybody on the outside could have predicted. I was an educated woman, summa cum laude grad, but turned a blind eye to his background, didn't know things that like the Central Park Five, were just completely ignorant about so many things, and was made to believe that Democrats were going to set our country on fire, kind of like the up is down construct of the real threat that's out there. And so went to work for him, had a nightmare experience, wanted to walk away, wanted to say this never happened, nobody needs to know about it, maybe go back to my work as an actress and just, pretend like this was a dream. And I ultimately had an existential crisis where I realized I couldn't live with myself walking away from this. It was kind of like that age-old injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. And I had to deal with this if I was going to have credibility in anything that I cared about or stood for moving forward in my life. And so in 2017, almost 10 years ago, I filed a pro se lawsuit against the Trump campaign because I didn't have time to get a lawyer, didn't have money to pay for anyone, didn't have enough people that believed in my case, but I believed in my case. I filed that. This was a human rights lawsuit. It initiated a multi-year battle. I was one of the first victims of Trump's real political persecution, witnessing how he uses the justice system and how he weaponized what was a private agreement, an illegal private agreement, as president through his campaign to try to silence American citizens. And I was gradually having my awakening. I say my awakening started on day one with the Muslim ban, because I realized that every campaign shtick that I thought was just bravado, was actually real life horrors that he was going to bring. And that kind of really woke me up, but it was gradual. And I was waking up as I was bringing these lawsuits against him, filed a second lawsuit. He came after me with this illegal NDA that he's trying once again. I can't believe it. I mean, we killed these things in the courts. He's trying it again today with federal workers, these NDAs. And he tried to come after me for $1.5 million. I sued him again. Ultimately had 3 different iterations of my lawsuits in 3 different venues. At one point, he had a $50,000 judgment against me, tried to bankrupt me, take away the one. I had no money, but I had good credit. He would have just taken away the one financial stronghold that I had. And I fought through this through the entire first administration. In the end, came out invalidating every single NDA that any 2016 staffer, volunteer, or contractor ever signed. Not just for myself, for everyone. And have parlayed that into what, in this illegal administration that should have never started on day one, if those people in Congress had 1/10 of the respect for the oath that they have taken. My on the ground activism started on day one in 2025, urging Congress to reject this, and has continued for the past year and a half in my work with the Removal Coalition to get this son of a gun and this illegal criminal regime kicked out of office.
Thank you for all the hard work you're doing. That's great.
I have to. I'm like, this is
Oh my
like,
God.
I'm like, I can't even follow that up. Like, that's just let that. I'm just let that hang for a while.
Yeah, I have to say, just on a personal note, it's really amazing to meet you. Like, actually get to see you face to face in this way.
I
know I've been backstage helping you before, but it's so great to actually just get to talk to you and have this discussion, because you're a fighter and you've prevailed. Not only are you a fighter, but you're a winner in all of this too. Like, you have opened the door for so many other people, and the courage that you've shown is immense. And you've shown that it can be done. It can be done. And thank you for the courage that you have shown through all of this. And this is where I guess we can get into the courage of the moment now too. And what I've been reaching out to people on, and I reached out to you, Jessica, about it, was the DOJ Olmstead memo and the saying no to Crip Crow, and what's going on. And yesterday it came out that Stephen Miller is behind this DOJ memo, because of course, yeah. And I would love to hear your thoughts on, as a organizer, as a leader in helping navigate this space to bring people together and form these coalitions, is how can we get this out there? What can we do? What help can maybe I ask of you to increase our reach and make sure that we can codify the Olmstead decision into law before it gets taken away?
Well, what I listened to the show before I came on was an excellent framework. I mean, you properly described this as parallel to eugenics, and basically eugenics. I mean, people need to understand the gravity of this. And this is, to me, with Donald Trump, this is a figure who is both mentally ill and a criminal, and constantly projects that onto other people. You notice how many times Donald Trump in his rallies talked about mental asylums and criminals. And this is a guy who himself suffers from mental illness and is a career con artist.
Don't say that. That's not true.
No. And but this is such a serious. I told Nick, I think you're doing all the right things. The focus must be on Congress. I'm sure that this decision is going to be challenged in the courts. The problem with the courts, and I am living proof of this, they are slow. People's lives are altered in irreversible ways sometimes as you're waiting for the courts to rule properly, as decisions are going back and forth. And when you have people institutionalized, for God's sakes, you can imagine the impact of those poor decisions or slow walk decisions as this is being litigated. So you must, I mean, that's why our movement, my work in the Removal Coalition has been so laser focused on Congress, putting the onus on them, calling out their complicity in the crimes of this regime, down to your favorite freaking rock star Democrat that gets all the likes and the retweets and everything else. Because unless they're Al Green, and I don't mean the Al Green of the last few months, because I'm still waiting for him. And by the way, he's going to be coming back, but not even at a speed that I'm been satisfied with. Unless you're him forcing votes on the floor of the House, you're not doing your job in my book right now. You're just not. We wouldn't, if we got rid of this criminal regime, we wouldn't have a Stephen Miller trying to reinstitute eugenics in 2026 in the United States.
Don't talk about Smeagol. We don't refer him to Stephen Miller. We call him Smeagol.
He's a smegalomaniac. You want
a story that I probably haven't told in a long time?
Yes.
Maybe never even fully. So I worked with Stephen Miller on the 2016 Trump campaign.
I'm sorry
you had that traumatic experience.
Thank you. So I had a very rapid ascent in the Trump campaign. I went from working as a national phone bank administrator. People wrongfully say, oh, she was a volunteer for phone banks. No, I was the national administrator for phone banks for the campaign from Trump Tower. Anyway, that said, it was still a fairly low-level position. Within 2 weeks of my hire, Steve Bannon, of all people, promoted me to lead Hispanic engagement for the campaign. I then began working side by side with Stephen Miller. It was kind of like Stephen Miller and Steve Bannon were running that campaign, and Kellyanne Conway, but it was very much them that were driving a lot of decisions. And so I kind of was on Stephen Miller's policy team for a short time, and Steve Bannon really plugged me into a high level of everything. He brought me on the Trump plane. He brought me to, the green rooms of debates and events like that. It was very quickly ascendant. Also the cause for the eventual and very quick retaliation and jealousy and all the things that come with that, which is what I experienced. But just to stick with Stephen Miller for a minute, the night after the first debate was my first time riding on the Trump plane. They had, at this point, the cool kids, the boys club, had decided that it was time to sabotage me because I was moving a little too far too fast. And amongst those people, they decided to do that with Stephen Miller. And I got onto that plane that day, and I was little, docile Jessica, okay, walking into this den of wolves. And one of the more decent staff members, someone in the finance department, told me and my other companion that day on the plane where to sit. And it happened to be in the Secret Service section. Now, if you walk onto the Trump plane in these days, the first section where you'd normally have first class in a regular passenger plane was basically the coach. And that was where Secret Service sat. You walk beyond that, and it's like the living room, right? It's the dining room table. It's the big lounge where Trump sits with the TV, and then beyond that, some private rooms. So we were delegated to the Secret Service section. I call it the coach of the Trump plane. And we sat down. And the other girl that was with me, a girl named AJ Delgado, it's a whole nother story, no time for that today. She sat next to me, but she quickly removed herself and went over to the cool kids table in the other part of the plane. So the nice finance staffer sees that she's moved, and he's like, you know what? You can come too. You don't have to stay here. You can come too. I move over. I already know, and I am not equipped for this. Mind you, I am not equipped for workplace, like knives out attacks. Jessica Denson is not equipped for this. Okay. So she goes in, she's good at her job. She's really good at what she does, but she is not equipped for the social assassins in the Trump campaign. So I walk into that table in the lounge elite part of the plane, sit down at a table with AJ Delgado, Stephen Miller, Hope Hicks, and I think the finance guy, Eli. Stephen Miller looks at me and he says, "This is a workspace." Oh, really? This is a workspace. Well, what the fuck am I doing there if not working? What am I doing? Am I not on that plane to work like everybody else while Stephen Miller literally sits there and gives Hope Hicks a shoulder massage? Is that working? But Jessica Denson, who is literally probably the one that's working most seriously on that plane at that time, is not allowed to sit at the workspace. So I said, you know what? Nothing. I could say things. I will say nothing. I will take my little backpack and go back to the Secret Service section of the plane, sit down. Guess what happens 3 minutes later? Donald Trump walks across that section into the Secret Service area, goes to probably the cockpit, walks back and says, "What are you doing sitting here?" It says to the Secret Service guy I'm sitting next to something like, "Oh, the pretty ones always sit next to you. Come with me." Okay. And takes me and trots me back across that den of wolves onto a couch to sit with him and talk for the 2 minutes that I could have his attention, because his mind is like noodles and you can't pin him down. And I was strictly business. I was working on a new logo for the Spanish language and very, just wanted to get my business done. Can I get your approval, Mr. Trump? Thank you very much. But that was my utterly debasing, humiliating, dehumanizing, discrediting women in the workplace experience with Stephen Miller.
I have about 800 follow-up questions. I only have I have a palindrome for this, and it's wow. It's a one-word answer. Jessica, I'm so sorry you had to deal with that. I am so sorry that you even got put in a position where that little hobbit-looking piece of turd ball. Okay, I can't. There's not enough adjectives to describe exactly what he is because it's so disgusting that they're like you can't use it in public discourse. I mean, now here's my question.
Yes.
I have one question. It's 10 years later. If you ran into yourself 10 years ago and you were time traveling, what do you tell yourself?
What the hell are you doing here? Like, what the hell are you doing?
The only reason why I'm asking that, and that's normally the gut check answer, right? Like we would all do that. Right. Like, don't do that.
Yeah.
But just remember that experience and what you've gone through has forged who you are today.
Of course.
And would you be the same Jessica Denson that's a powerhouse, that is on everybody's shit and forcing the change that we need at this particular time in American history? Or are you going to be the Star Trek Captain Picard that is the blue shirt who has no future in command, who's relegated to the astrophysics laboratory on a starship?
No, I know. Listen, guys. I mean, I sometimes joke. I've had a book that's been on the shelf. You know, all the other like former Trumpers, first thing they did was like write a book, and like here I'm, you know, the book is the last consideration. Probably should have been the first, but anyway, I joke about my book, which is in progress, just been on hold because of all of the activism. That I think it's going to be called Get Out. Because I've been kicked out and shut out of so many places in my life. It is a badge of honor at this point. Trust me, it is a badge of honor. But I'm like, don't let me in. It's okay. I'm going to be slaying here on the outside once you slam that door on me. So don't let me in.
I just want to say, for like seeing all the other like books and stuff that come out and like controversies around people releasing books, I'm so glad that it wasn't your first thing that you went to was to write a book, as you went and did the activism part. Like we've been at there are some people that held on to information for nearly 8 months on the Epstein stuff to write a book. And disgusting. Michael Wolff is a prime example of what it means to hold on to information and become part of the network. And
somebody who's worked for him for the last 50 years. How much information have they held on to? That we literally don't have to be in this position if people had just had the courage to do what was necessary, to stand up at a microphone and out this.
Yeah,
I don't know what he is.
One of the ones that I had the biggest gripe with was John Bolton. John Bolton not coming out as a witness during the first impeachment. I mean, and holding for his freaking book. I mean, when they talk about his prosecution, I feel bad for him. It was retribution, but for God's sakes, where was he when we needed him? You know, like people like that. It's just.
So how has all of this experience helped drive your activism? What has it done for you to activate the need or want to do this activism and this coalition building? Like what has it inspired in you, and why do you keep doing it right now?
You know, to me, it's very like intuitive. It's something like I don't even feel like I have a choice. It's that natural to me. I don't know how not to do this. You know, I tell my audience, and sometimes my mother's like, stop saying you don't want to do a podcast. Because I tell my audience, like, I don't want to do a podcast. I do it because I have to do it because, like, you need me here. You know, that's why she's like, stop telling your audience you don't want to do. But it's not that. I love my audience. I love doing this work. It's literally just that I don't feel it is so. I don't know how to be an American living in this situation and not do this. I mean, for God's sakes, we are flawed. You talked about the history of this nation, how we have genocidal roots. We have to come to terms with this. But somehow, in spite of the very compromised white men that founded this country, in spite of that, they had a vision for democracy and freedom that the world had never seen, in spite of their deep, deep flaws. The fact that we are 250 years into that, and we are literally, as you guys talked about before I came on, living a regression, a stripping away, a return to genocidal roots, to eugenics, to 3 times as many concentration camps in the United States in 2026 as there were in Nazi Germany in 1939. Like, how can you see this happening before our eyes and not fight with all you have? I mean, we're the ones. We're like, this isn't something I've said in a long time, but I used to say this all the time, and I mean, this is it. Like, we're the ones that are writing the history of this moment. So are we going to be asleep at the wheel while freedom on earth is literally burned, in a heap of... No, we have to stand up. I just don't know how. I guess it's just not in me. Just like it wasn't in me, even though I resisted it with every core of my being, to walk away from the injustice that I saw in the Trump campaign. At the end of the day, it just wasn't in me. And so I don't know how to not do this, I guess.
I found it very profound what you just said. And it's not just those of us that do these shows, and it's everybody, no matter what you do. If you are doing something that is progressing against this regime and this government and the choices and the decisions that it's making, you are helping to write this moment that we are living in. Even in your small little corner of your neighborhood, you're helping to change the history of this country. Your vote will change the history of this country. Everything we do, and I know people lose sight of, it's my vote, it doesn't count, there's so many people, but every little thing does. That phone call to Congress, the email to Congress, the letter to Congress, the talking to your neighbor, all these things that we consider like it's too much or we can't do that. It's the can't that makes it hard, but it's also the can't that is the reason why we do this, right? It's the hard is why we do it. And I would imagine that in every cycle of human history where there was a revolution or a call to fight evil, it's the same conversation in human history of there are people that need to stand up and face the moment. And true leadership means facing the moment in the band of fear. In the guise of fear, that's when you see courage. And who of our leadership is going to meet that moment?
And I think one of those people who's been meeting that moment for years, for a decade and longer, is sitting right with us, is Jessica here. And we haven't gotten the time to get you. I'm going to get you back for more and maybe some other stuff, because I would love to continue talking with you and hearing
as much
more.
As you love
we didn't even get into the removal coalition piece. And this has been so fun. And the reason I'm hastening an end is because I actually have to jump to another show that I'm going to be a guest on to speak about the Olmstead decision and continue my work there. Is I'm going to give Jessica here a chance to promote herself and the work that she's doing, because this has been a wonderful introduction. I hope everyone in the audience has had a really good introduction to Jessica today if you hadn't met her before. And so, Jessica, I'm going to give you the floor again here to promote yourself and the work that you're doing, because I think it's amazing. The activism is really important. The support that we provide to Jessica and the activism she's doing is going to make a difference. And so, Jessica, promote yourself, please.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to tell you, I'm going to, as I promised to you, I'm going to give my own personal pitch for the Olmstead decision tomorrow on Lights On. And because you have to run, Nick, I'll save that personal story that I told you in text, but tune into Lights On tomorrow. I'll tell it to the audience. This is actually something that my family is very personal to my family. So I will definitely share that with my audience. what we have been doing. You want to talk about effective activism, and another time we can talk about performative versus effective. This has been my pet peeve. This is why I formed the Removal Coalition, because I knew that the activism space was lacking teeth. It was lacking a demand. I saw the mass mobilization of millions of people without a demand, without the leaders like Ezra and Leah of Indivisible and others using that opportunity to show that this country is demanding Trump and this regime's removal from office. So we started doing that. As a result of our movement, as a result of Remove the Regime, which is the movement I spearheaded with our coalition members and had tens of thousands of people in DC back in November, after many lobbying trips to the Capitol before that, we got a 77% surge in support for impeachment. Anybody that tells you this cannot be done, it's impossible, we don't have the votes, they are literally throwing in the towel. They are literally giving cover to these feckless, spineless cowards in Congress. Don't do it anymore. The way to get this done is by forced votes. We got a 77% surge from one vote to another. Imagine if these forced votes on impeachment were happening regularly. That is what we are educating people about right now. You can go to removetheregime.com. Please follow Removal Coalition on Instagram and Blue Sky. You'll see a pinned reel on there with the Dropkick Murphys and many more, educating people about Rule 9 and the power that literally any member of Congress, even in the minority, has every single day that House is in session. This is what should be happening every day. No more endless diagnoses. Use the tools that you have. Honor your oath. End your complicity in the bloody dismantling of American democracy. So that's number one. Please be involved in our work. It's laser focused. It's uncompromising. And that's where we are. We also have some major upcoming events. Please stay tuned. Something that has not been done in the resistance in this country under this illegal term is about to happen with the Removal Coalition next week. Big stuff. Please stay tuned. And then you can also, of course, watch my show Lights On with Jessica Denson every Friday at 7 on YouTube, also throughout the week, sporadically when I can fit it in with all the activism going on in the background. That's my platform. That is the outlet for my activism. It is entirely remedy focused. It is not clickbait. It is not garbage. It is solution oriented, power oriented, and I come to you on that show for answers. So join me there on Lights On Friday.
Thank you so much, Jessica. This has been so fun to get to talk to you.
I'm like blown away right now. I'm like, I can't even. Nick, you can skip my promo. I don't need to do it. I don't want to take any Jessica's thunder away. So.
I'm gonna just promo for you.
Just doing this. I'm gonna do my normal, just suck less promo. You can find me in Substack here, Dr. Lulov, and on Blue Ant Media. I write on healthcare policy and health politics. Nick, all yours.
Thanks, brother. And I'll do mine too, is also just suck less with Sick of This Shit publications. Be a better human, be a better person, help yourself learn and grow, because now you know so you can grow. And come join us. Come join Eric. Come join Jessica. I'm going to be hopping on to another live here in a couple moments to discuss the removal or discuss the Olmstead decision. But please come support where you can for any of our publications. It really helps all of us. It helps get our messages out. It helps get your messages out and the things that you need. So please, thank you, everyone. Love and respect to all of you. Jessica, thank you so much for being on today.
Thanks for making time for us today.
Thank you for making so much time for us. All of everyone in the audience, as we always say, we're done being sick of this shit. So now we're doing this shit. Thanks, everyone. Have a great afternoon.